Galveston.
Oil and gas.
Ask questions.
Artificial intelligence.
CGI or something?
I don't know what his name was.
Any alcohol, drugs, sex after 12, or any other illegal activity.
As you have heard from so many incredible leaders.
Hawk to it. Spit on that thing. You get me? Galveston.
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
We're here with Jay Kinda Funny.
And this is
the oil and gas.
If there's something to do with oil and gas, I don't want to touch it.
Never, ever quit. Never quit.
I want to go where culture is. Like
Galveston.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once.
all right.
Everybody has a camera on their phone, and everybody has phones over. Like, it's over.
Oil and gas.
Galveston.
I have no technical ability, and I know nothing about music.
So what are you being paid for?
I've seen some of the most brilliant people in the world that never made it because they were quitters.
So I told you once before, America, we're family. You and I, we are family. Always and forever.
Are you guys ready?
Ready.
All right. So, can you tell me a little bit about oil and gas and how it came to be? Wait, no, pause. You wanted me specifically to ask. I'm gonna ask that question, but then I started reading my own question.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
What you wanted me to ask specifically? What
are we trying to accomplish?
That's what I'm gonna ask instead of how it came to be.
Right.
Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about oil and gas and what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, definitely. I think we want to make something that audiences, well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to anybody who's taking the time to listen. One of the things that I always factor in when I'm looking at art or encountering some sort of artwork, I think about the amount of effort that the people who are making the work, what they took, the energy that it took to make that work, and I highly respect that. And I also just want to say to the audience that I highly respect your time, and what you're signing up for is a lot of quality and a lot of great, authentic interviewing from both of us. And we're making this with a lot of respect for you in mind and a lot of due diligence. And so that's what I really want to start with, is I want to say thank you for your time and for giving us a listen. It really, 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 from the heart, matters to me, so I appreciate it. But back to what I was starting to say, I really want to contribute to the Galveston art scene, and I want to get momentum and energy going where people feel very free to express themselves in their medium, and know that there's an audience out there that's willing to listen to them. And I also want to connect artists throughout mediums. So if you are a musician and you come on the show, I want you to meet that filmmaker that needs their film to be scored. I want you to meet, if you're a painter, right, I want you to meet that person in the audience who, needs to see your painting as a sort of therapy or as a sort of release. And I also want for people who aren't traditional audience members or people who don't come out to look at art to realize that art is for them. It doesn't have to be for this, lofty audience or elite audience. Art is for everybody, and art is an artist's way of interpreting the world. And so we want people to feel welcome into any space, whether it's a gallery, whether it's this building. We want as many people to come and enjoy art. So yeah, that's where I'll start, and I'll leave it off to you.
Yeah, I think this is a really good space to showcase the talent that the South and Galveston, Houston, the broader area has to offer, and it can show, or it can put into perspective, like what is on offer, and like my co-host was saying, kind of just start that conversation and strike that conversation amongst audience and the people that are brought on and that we get the opportunity to interview.
Awesome. So, what inspired you to create this podcast, and why focus on the Galveston and Harris community? Wait, are you focusing on Harris County at all?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly want people to, if I'm being very honest, I want people to stop trying to do things in Harris and come down to Galveston and Galveston County, because I think the energy out here is less academic. It's more welcoming. It's very much like, oh, you're doing that? Yeah, like we all embrace it and we all love it. Whereas I think in Houston, the scenes that I was encountering, people are very kind of guarded and skeptical of things that are going on. I think that's just the traffic over there will cause you to be very, standoffish. For lack of a better word, I'll use that word. And I think when people realize that down in Galveston, that's not the energy that you're going to meet. You're going to get very down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth people, just willing to listen to you and look at what you have to make. That's why this scene is objectively better than the scene out in Houston and Harris County. And you can take me out to lunch and we can discuss that if you ever want to reach out to us.
That's controversial.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like.
I think it has to do with it being an island, because islands have like a way of like relaxing people. I think the water has a lot to do with that, and the palm trees. But I think the water, like being around the beach and at the ocean, for me at least, is huge.
Yeah.
I think your argument could be summed up with like, oh, it's an island, so everyone's chill.
Yeah, absolutely. And contributing to that, I think also in Houston, like you go to art shows over there, and it's always the same people, and it's kind of hard also to get people to come out to your art show in Houston because you have to sit in 45 minutes of I-10 traffic. Whereas here, right, if you want to go to an art show, you go there at 8 p.m. and then you have just a 2-block walk to go to the Grand and see, someone perform, and then you can go catch a jam session at 11 at a bar, right? Because everyone's just so close. Yeah. And that is that's the way art should be experienced, in my opinion, right? Like, just that energy of like, let's go to this show, let's go to that. Whereas I think Houston's more like, all right, let's go to that show, and then let's get in the car, drive for another 20 minutes, let's go to the next show. And it's like, it's not conducive to getting the magic going.
And so, why do you both personally feel the need to create this platform for local artists?
Okay. I think for me, like I said earlier, it's important to like showcase the talent that this area has to offer, and give artists a platform. This is not about us, right? It's about the people we bring on, and I think it's very important to kind of keep that in mind, and give them the platform and the ability to connect and showcase their talent and meet other people.
Yeah, I fully agree. To get very specific here, I want the kid in Santa Fe or Hitchcock who's afraid to express themselves to see an artist come on our show and realize, oh, there's somebody out there who's making work for me, who has the sort of same background as me. And when they see that, when our audiences, whether it's a teenager or whether it's a 35-year-old who works in a blue-collar job, I want them to see other artists that are representing them and are making work for them, and to feel inspired to either make work as well or come out to their shows and support them. And I think you have to be hyper-local, and you have to embrace what's happening in your community in order to get that energy and momentum going. So that's part of the reason.
And oh my goodness. And you said you wanted to bring local artists of all kinds together. So what are you wanting to build a local network of artists? And if so, can you tell me about that vision?
Do you want me to take it?
I can start off. Yeah. So for me, my background is in cinema and film, and working in the film industry, and so that's definitely what who I hope to like really specialize in, as well as surfing. There's a lot of art in surfboard making, and there's a lot of like photography that surrounds surfing and film, and the surf scene is full of artists. So that's kind of what my goal is.
Yeah. What was the question again? Can you repeat it?
Yeah, I kind of lost that one too.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so you said you wanted to bring local artists of all kinds together. Are you wanting to build a local network of artists? And if so, can you tell me about that vision?
Yeah, absolutely. So, to build on his answer, this is not to say that, the scene in Galveston isn't happening right now. There's a scene in Galveston happening right now. And I think it's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. And if you're not in Galveston, you're not a part of it, please come and join it. Please come to the galleries. Please come to the Grand. Please come to the jam sessions that are happening, because they, again, are so warm and welcoming and inviting, and everyone's here in good faith for the sake of making great art and beauty, right? And yeah, we do want to make a network. I want, people who maybe need a guitarist, right, in their band to come on our show and say, hey, we need a guitarist. Can you come? If you're out there, Bay Cliff, San Leon, Texas City, and you're dying to join a band, reach out to our guests, and boom, now you're part of a band. Same, I think I mentioned this earlier, but like, right. Oh, well, we'll bleep it out. We'll bleep it out. I'm definitely gonna have to edit that. If they're working on a film, and they need it to be scored, I want a musician out there who very much connects with him and his goal and his mission statement to reach out to him and say, hey, I want to compose your film, and that's just how art should be made. It should be collaborative and in good faith. And so, yeah, I hope that answers the question. I don't know if you want to build up on that.
Yeah, no, I think that was great. Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Awesome. So, why did you choose to remain anonymous, and how do you think that shapes the podcast's identity?
Oh my God, I can definitely take this one because this is I've kept reinforcing the need for it. We're anonymous for a myriad of reasons, a lot of reasons. Number one is the way people consume media now is people will read what is on the thumbnail, what is on the post, and they will decide from that if they want to consume it. So that creates an environment where people will only watch the things that are part of their bubble, and won't go out and venture out to check out something new that is completely foreign to them. So by being anonymous, we're begging the question about who is behind the masks, and we're also not giving that audience member clues about who we are, where we came from, our educational background, if we're hot or not, if we're attractive or not. You just don't know. And all of those factors, we have to be very honest, totally influence whether somebody clicks or somebody decides to engage. And so I wanted to limit that, take that away from the viewer, and make you have to click so that you can be part of the mystery and be part of the club. Number two, we also have our own careers going, and one of the things that I really want is to not be associated with this when I'm out walking, when I'm out at the grocery store, when I'm out at art shows. I want people to treat me for myself, and not because I'm associated with an interview show or because I'm associated as a journalist, somewhere. I want people to, treat me as I am, and I want to interpret the world as a human being so that I can make work from that, and I don't want that to be affected. And then finally, the biggest one is we're not doing this for ego, or we're not doing this because we want to be known as hosts of a show. We are doing this because we care about other artists, and putting them on and bringing audiences to them. And so by masking ourselves, and by you'll notice in future interviews, we're focused on putting the camera on the guest, and that's it. You're not going to see us after this. And that's because we want you to focus on the artist. We don't want you to think about us and what we're up to. And so, yeah, there are a couple other reasons, but I feel like I've been talking for a while. So I'm going to let you go ahead. And I don't know, what do you think about this anonymous bit that I keep making you
Well, he was the one who convinced me to do this in the first place. I'm super thankful to be here. I think being anonymous will definitely make it less about us and more about the artist that we're trying to pick their brain and showcase and learn about, and have the conversation with them, and why they make their art, and people won't be worried about who's interviewing them as long as the questions are good, which I think they will be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think remaining anonymous is important and will allow us to. Hold on, I'm gonna restart all that because I got.
Okay.
No, I think
went
that
on
was
a
good.
tangent, but yeah,
No, that was good.
Yeah, I think okay.
We're not
Edit all
editing
that out.
No, we're not. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, I think it's important. I'm gonna summarize it so you can use it as a little
Okay.
bit, right? So yeah, I think remaining anonymous is important because it will allow the viewer to focus on who we're interviewing and not be worried about who is interviewing that artist that we're trying to showcase and have that conversation with.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
We got like 5 yeahs in a row there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was awesome.
I'm gonna do my Drake. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kept
Okay. Okay. Getting serious again, right? So what exactly can listeners expect from a typical episode?
We're gonna go the fuck in always. We're gonna ask about personal life. We're gonna ask about, why do you feel the need to create? What experiences in your life caused you to make the work that you make? We want also to provide career advice. Obviously we're trying to enter our respective scenes and our respective worlds. Almost said it again, but I'll still leave it out. This guy next to me has a wealth of knowledge, and he's humble enough to probably say no, but we want to bring on guests who have made it into the industry, into their respective industries, and we want to provide a educational tool for, again, that 14-year-old who's at home, who's dying to be a musician and needs to know the path in this modern world. How do you make it? The cinematographer who's in Pearland, in Alvin, in Sugarland, that wants to know, how do you start, right? Do I just move to LA? This guy has a great idea on what that looks like. And so, really want to be an educational tool as well for people.
Yeah, I'd say inspire. Definitely allow viewers to connect with the artist that we're interviewing, whether it be a photographer, painter, musician, culinary artist, who knows, any form of art. It allow the viewer to be inspired and to connect with that artist, and just create an environment where we can nurture learning and forming those connections that art is unique in doing. I think art is the only thing that I've found in my life to really connect me and at the end of the day pull that emotion out of me or change my mind about a topic. I think specifically visual art and music as well, but I think visual art has a way of changing people's minds on issues that maybe watching a debate on TV might not do. But if you watch a movie about an issue in the world, then it tends to be a little bit better at molding the viewer's mind. So I think just creating that environment and allowing, at the end of the day, inspiring.
Yeah.
For me, because I still, I love to be inspired by other forms of art, even though I work in film. I'll look at paintings a lot for inspiration, and music is a big inspiration for me as well. So
yeah, absolutely. And going back to what I said initially at the start, you can expect a lot of quality and care for your time. I think when you as an audience member receive something of quality, you realize what quality feels like, and you demand that from everywhere else in your life. If somebody's treating you badly and they don't give you quality treatment, or if you watch a show that you're like, that's not quality, then you start demanding more from the world, and you just make the world altogether better because you know what quality is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
without a doubt.
And then just to expand on that, do either of you think that that seeing this kind of podcast would have helped you get established in your individual industries?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah. I'd like to say I hope so, and I want to say I think so. I've certainly found there to be outlets as a filmmaker that have really helped me and inspired me. So yeah, I want to say yes. If I were to come across this podcast, when I had first gotten into my career field, that I would sit and maybe watch the episodes that I thought were going to inspire me. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be focused on the fine art world and also film and music. I think one of the things that is kind of nebulous for people out there is how do you manage the finances? And so by bringing guests who are a little later in their careers, who can talk about those finances, that would be fantastic because, for me, I'm trying to figure out how to balance both making a living, but also having enough time to experiment and let my voice come out. And so, I think we will have a lot of guests who have found that balance, and they will be, very valuable to the people who are listening.
Cool. How do you think this podcast can change the way people engage with local art?
Yeah, I think what you'll find from our questions and the guests that we bring on, we're going to try to get as authentic as possible and get people to share just realness and real struggle that those artists are individually going through, or the wins as well. And so could you just ask the question one more time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you think this podcast can change the way people engage with local art?
Yeah, so people will find that artists are genuine people that are actively going through their day-to-day, thinking of making work, and really for the audience member that's not coming to the museums, that's not coming to the art shows and galleries, or that's not going to the movies. Hopefully not. Please watch movies.
Please go to the cinema.
Please go to the cinema.
Don't watch Netflix.
I want people to realize that art is not for the elite crowd, the rich, right? Just to be very direct. Art is for everybody, and artists are trying to connect with you. And I'm
gonna
go ahead.
Kind of go off what he's saying. Definitely just accessibility, like making it, if you're a viewer or if you're an artist on the show, just making it just like bridging that gap, helping to bridge that gap, and making the art or whatever you're trying to communicate to the audience or the person consuming that art, making it more easily accessible, and then also like going back and inspiring the viewer for the show, because I think everybody has a bit of creativity in them, and I think if more people tapped into that creativity, the world would be a better place. Because if I wasn't creative, I'd be punching holes in the wall. But luckily, I have lots of creative outlets, and so I don't have to do that. And so it's a way for me to help manage my emotions and express myself. And I think if everybody, it's like that statistic that if more people were to go for runs, then the suicide rate would be a lot lower. I don't remember the exact statistics on that.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
It
sounds
I
very
saw it at
right.
a running store, so it might be true. I don't think they were just trying to sell shoes. So I think it goes back to if everybody were to have some creative outlet in their life, because everybody that I know has a creative outlet in their life, but I don't think everybody has a creative outlet in their life. And I think if more people were to spend even 10 minutes a day journaling or writing, it could be something as simple as sketching or drawing, then the world would be a much happier place if people could express themselves through a healthy form.
Yeah, and I also want to offer that one of the things that that I do, and I know he will do, is we go to shows, whether it's music shows, art shows, and we'll be offering reviews and what we thought about the show in Clear Lake, or the show in Houston, right, or the show in Galveston. And really what I want people to realize, specifically, and I have in mind that type of person that never goes to art, or that thinks that art is for that weird kid that they knew in high school, that art is for them. Art is for you to sit with and to think about what it's trying to tell you, and for you to enjoy. And so I totally want to just battle misconceptions about who art is for and what the purpose of it is, and we'll do that throughout episodes, I'm very sure.
So speaking about local artists, what is some of the biggest challenge you think local artists in Galveston face today?
You want me to go?
Yeah, I don't have anything. Actually, I don't know. I don't have anything to say on that.
Well,
We lost the light.
Here, let's just turn it back on. I'm sure it's fully charged. Should be.
Like gather all of my things.
Well, while that light comes on, you can just go ahead and talk.
Low battery.
Yeah. Oh, LOL.
It's okay.
That bad boy was full. It was fully powered, so that's why it's probably just diminished.
It's all good.
Yeah, that one's also fully charged.
So it's probably gonna die soon. Because if it's on the same brightness setting.
It's okay.
Honestly,
it's okay if they die. Man.
It looks fine, right?
Yeah, it looks fine. It's just gonna be a difference.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also an audio.
It's gotten moodier.
Yeah,
you increase the contrast.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're at
by a factor
2-1
of half.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, there really as much as I like to say there is an energy and a scene down here in Galveston. There are some times where somebody has a show or an opening, and the amount of people at the show is 10 people or 8 people or like 7, and half of them are that person's family and closest friends. So again, we want to promote those artists and promote those shows and tell people like this is happening, and we went there last week and it was lit, so you got to come out again and enjoy it. One of the struggles that artists are going through is audience, right? And I think half the battle is marketing those shows and letting people know that they're happening, and then after that, right, we can talk about the accessibility of a show, whether it's costly or has a price barrier, but we want to do our best effort to market other people's shows and whatever they have going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and also money. I think if we can get an artist to come on here and say, we need 10K for our next film, or for my next project I need 15K. We want ideally for people to realize that artist is being sincere in their need for money, and hopefully that audience can Patreon or contribute to that artist in some sort of patronage or GoFundMe or Venmo, right? So a lot of avenues in how we can help artists based on just those financial struggles that honestly we're all going through. So
cool. Let me catch up with where we're at. How do you plan to get the community involved in the podcast?
Very simple. I mean, I want the artists that come out to be interviewed to share their interview and share the interview with their following, and I think we'll see a snowball effect of people clicking and then realizing, oh, this is worthy, and this podcast is meaty, and it has a lot for me to learn from, and it's also it's happening in my backyard, or it's happening somewhere where I know that place, or I know that artist, or they're referencing things that I know. They're referencing locations that I also frequent, whether it's Post Office Street or the Seawall or a specific gallery, right? We want people to feel like their environment is being reported on.
And then, are there some ways listeners can participate in the discussion?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we have a following that's brave enough to, suggest guests, and, maybe they know somebody in Lamarck that is making really great work and really beautiful music, and, I encourage people to, once our episodes start rolling out, to go in the comments and say, hey, my buddy is very serious about what he's doing. You guys should interview him or her. And in those ways, we want people to contribute and contribute questions too, right? Can you ask? We'll have a very interesting social media strategy. So hopefully people can contribute in those ways.
Awesome. And if someone listening wants to support this project, what's the best way for them to do that?
What do you think?
Send it to your parents. Share it around with your family and other artists that you think would connect, whether they're well established in their career or if they're just starting out, and spread the word and try to inspire.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a great answer. Yep. Yeah. Please
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe.
And leave a comment.
Yeah, help us. Help the algorithm pick us up.
Yeah, exactly. Help the algorithm pick us up.
Yeah, which is a lot of thoughts about that. But that and really, really take the time to take us serious, because we are serious about what we're up to, and it's come from a place of respect. So so that, and then I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, one clarifying question: are you sourcing interviewees just specifically from Galveston County, or are you getting them from other places?
Anybody we want to meet. Anybody we want to be friends with, that's who we're going to reach out to. No, honestly, anybody. We've got some guests lined up from Hollywood that will talk about the filmmaking out there. I have friends in high places.
Nice.
I do, but also I say that humbly. That I'm sure, if I email and reach out sincerely, we'll get some pretty cool voices. And we're going to hit a lot of diverse paths. I want to interview journalists. I want to interview curators. I want to interview, maybe even, I hope we can interview somebody who's working at a refinery and ask them, why don't you come to our shows, or do you come to our shows? And what are your peers saying about art as a entertainment source? So, expect a lot of that sort of trying out new things and just unconventionality from us.
Yeah.
And then to wrap this up.
Well, you got to ask us about us too. We also want to talk about what we're up to.
Okay. Okay. Specifically as in you individuals.
Yeah, does that sound like I was scolding you at anyone?
No, like I want this to go the way y'all want to go, but also I don't know if I wanted to steer away from that because of the anonymity.
Oh, yeah.
Anonymity.
Yeah. Well, I think we can talk about what
I guess we could do to build credibility, so people think we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we can say what our
Okay. So I'll ask something about your backgrounds then.
Well, we can just go. We can just.
You want to do it at the end so she can ask her question?
Do you have one more question, or is that?
No, the last question I always like to end any interview with is always is there anything else you'd like to add? Because that's usually my outro, just so y'all can add anything else y'all want to.
Yeah.
But
I see.
Yeah, I can just cut straight into the questions of so what makes you qualified to be able to host this podcast?
Okay.
What is your background?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have a lot of editing.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna edit. It's just gonna roll.
Oh, okay.
I love the organicness of just letting it roll.
Well, okay.
So.
Fair enough.
Then let me ask you formally then. So why are you two qualified to discuss this industry, and what are your backgrounds?
Go for it.
Okay, you can go first. Mine's pretty short.
Just I go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've been working in film for 6 years now as a professional camera assistant, and then more recently I have been working as a cinematographer on bigger and bigger projects, and starting to get a little bit more trust put into me as a cinematographer. And so I love film. I love watching films. I love talking about films. I'll spend hours analyzing a film and everything into it. And that's my whole life is the film industry, and it's what I love.
Did you go to college for film?
I did not. No. I just started working on set when I was still in high school, and I got my driver's license, and I started asking people on social media if I could go and work on their film set for free, and somebody made the mistake of saying yes one day, and now here I am. So that's how that happened, and it's been a wild ride, and it's still going on, and I hope to spend the rest of my life working in film. It's my passion. That's what I love. So
yeah.
But art as a whole for me is just huge. It's a huge part of my life, and I love art because of the emotion, and it's something that I find, it's definitely an escape from reality to a certain extent, but it also has cinema to me specifically has, from what I've seen and from what I found, has a very, very big impact in the way our society and culture shifts and moves. And I think, movies really do have the ability to change what people see and what people, like cinema has the ability to change minds, more so than other forms of art, I think, at least. So that's why I love it.
It's the one true medium. All other mediums suck.
All other mediums are not as powerful. But yeah, film to me definitely is one of the most powerful mediums from what it can do to the mind. And so, yeah, that's why I spend majority of my time obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So
I love that. So I'll just jump on in. I've been a reporter and a journalist in Texas ever since I've graduated college. So I think it's about 2.5 years now since I graduated. And that's all the Easter eggs I'm going to give about my identity. But I've been able to cover, things like deaths and crime scenes and breaking news, as well as local community events. And one of the things that I've found is no matter where you go and what the situation is, once you start talking to people, you start to realize that people are very empathetic. And as crazy as this sounds, we're all a lot more alike than we're made to believe. And so that inspired me to create something like this, where people can realize how more alike they are to each other than this sort of silo effect that social media has had on our society, where people are just stuck in their bubble and they don't want to interact with anything that they don't think will share the same beliefs as them. And so journalism has allowed me to tap into different enclaves of society, and so that's very beneficial. But long term, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker since I was making stop motion animation films when I was like 8 years old with any little camera that I could find. And then I went to college and I thought I was going to be a finance major. And so I was very dedicated to making money. And then halfway through, I kind of had an epiphany, and I had some great mentors who kind of made me realize that I'm destined to be an artist and a filmmaker, and to connect to people in emotional ways is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so then,
I couldn't imagine you in an office.
God,
I mean, I haven't known you for that long, but I could not imagine you in an office.
Don't get me started. And so, then I started making my own fine art, my own photography, and I haven't made music, and I beat myself up about it all the time, but that's why I want to interview a lot of musicians, because I want to learn about their process and what that looks like. But no, I really want to make art for the sake of just making, and if people like it and it resonates, great. When it comes to films, I definitely want to, full disclosure and full honesty here, like I do want to show a film to a packed theater that I poured my heart and soul and all of my holistic knowledge into, because I think I have things to say to the world based on my experiences, but all in the name of good faith and improving human understanding and human empathy, as you talked about. And so, I think there's just a lot of passion behind things that I do, and I think that's why I feel the authority to create something like this, because you need a lot of will and willpower and determination to do anything. And
No, we don't have to worry about being embarrassed.
No,
which is great.
Which is insane. It's insane to me that I can just like really let it all out, and it's you don't know who said this because you don't know what I look like, which is really empowering.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say after?
I'm good. Don't use AI. AI is not art.
Do not use AI.
That's my latest thing. Is rant against AI.
I don't think people realize how AI is sneaking up on society.
Well, like especially from a filmmaking perspective, right? Like AI video models have gotten better and better, especially in the past like 3 months. It's starting to get really good. And even like recently, Michael Bay used AI quite extensively in his Super Bowl commercial that he did. And it's sad because, like a film is a labor of love, and it has human touch to it. And it's, in the beginning, it was, and it still is like this, it's just gotten bigger and bigger in terms of like the production and the circus that goes on into making a film. But it's a man or a woman walking around, or any other gender walking around with a camera, and picking out very decisively what they want to shoot and what they want to tell. And with AI, it's not like it almost takes all the soul out of it. I'd say AI has like no soul when it comes to, especially filmmaking or making an image, and image generated by AI is. Anyway, we should probably cut all this out.
No, we're keeping that in because it actually, I do have, was one of the things that will also, well, let me just share an anecdote. I remember when I was in college, there was, as an artist, like especially when you're developing, like you encounter feelings of jealousy, and you try to like figure them out, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't feel jealous about this person making this work. And so you try to battle that. And as you get closer to who you really are, you realize that you don't need to be jealous because everyone's on their own journey. But there was this this guy who made AI art, and I wanted to kill him because I was like, what are you talking about? And he convinced the staff to let him have an exhibition of this AI art, and I hated his guts because not only because he got attention that I wasn't getting for my self-made art, but because he genuinely thought he was onto something. And I was like, bro, you are not, this is not it. This is
typing prompts into a box.
Exactly.
And generate is not.
Oh yeah, no, I was pissed. I was so pissed.
Yeah, I got into a social media argument the other day with a director in LA who's done some very large music videos. And this was over Instagram. And he put out a thing, and it was like, I spent a month making this. It's an AI short film. And I commented, I was like, this is cool, but it's not, like, to call this a film is kind of an insult to like films. And we got into it, and he's like, it's okay to hate. And I was like, well, I'm not hating, I'm just saying it's not a film. It's like a computer generated image. That you didn't spend, like, you spent time on it, but you didn't like put your soul, like you didn't, I don't know, it's weird. It's an interesting argument to have, because it's like, how do I not sound like
pretentious, or that I
pretend like, oh, like, let me push my glasses.
This is what's right and what's wrong.
Better than you, but I'll take that to the grave, that AI art is not art. It's because at the end of the day, it can't be original. It has to copy somebody else.
Yeah, and
but you can also say that about humans, right? Because we just copy what we see.
You can
remix it. It's kind of impossible to be entirely original.
Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of have to take what somebody else has done and then change it.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think I forgot to talk about in this interview from your questions is we'll be offering a lot of our takes on what's good and what's not good, and that's like subjective. But I pride myself, and I know him as well. We're both very reasonable, and we're willing to respectfully engage in what's good art and what's not good art, or what is art and what isn't, in the best faith and good faith arguments. But you can expect a lot of, like, if I go to a show and I go to see somebody's art and I think it's, too on the nose, or it's like trite, or I've seen something like it before, I'm going to let you know about it, and I'm going to tell you, that film was stealing from this, or that film was unoriginal, and that's just because we want to voice our opinions on what's good, because we care about quality and we have standards as well. So we are coming from a respectful place where we want everybody to shoot their shot, but you can also expect some serious engagement with what's good and what's just trying to be opportunistic and milk the moment for ego.
It's like short form content these days is kind of like doing that's like ruining, because like people consume whatever. it's like fast food.
Yeah.
It's easy to get that little rush of watching short form content. So I have to catch myself and not scroll, because it's like, well, I want to spend my time like watching like something long that somebody spent time on, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so we'll be, just to wrap it up, I'll say, we'll be keen on telling you what slop is and why we think it's slop, and then we'll also be
but form your own opinion on that.
Yeah, form your own opinion, but
it's all subjective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think we both have a gauge for interacting with art, and then figuring out if it's coming from a sincere place of trying to contribute to a conversation, or it's just trying to, pretend like it's something for the aesthetic. So, yeah.
That's controversial. I like it.
I mean, that's really how I feel. There's a lot of stuff out there that's not art, and
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's like fast food. It's like, it's easy, but like, would you rather have that, or would you, like, it's like the difference between eating a meal that you yourself or somebody else spent like, an hour preparing, or like 2 hours preparing, and there's like and then you go to you can get like a McDonald's burger, which might taste good once, but you eat it enough and you're like, wait, this is actually really bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we'll
I'll do that a lot. I'll compare art to food quite a bit.
Oh no, me too.
Okay, I like comparing food to films.
Dude, I thought I was the only one that did that. I was
like,
like,
all the time. I'm like, wow, this is like one of the comparisons I made during that social media argument. I was like, he was like, I basically called the video he made McDonald's, because I was like, well, it's it was easy to get, and it's cheap, and it's easy to get.
Yeah, I compare it to food in the way that like when a chef makes a meal, that chef is thinking about all the flavors that they know, and then they're like, how can I combine these flavors to give you something you've never experienced before? Then how can I use my techniques to make that happen?
Yeah, it's
and
like watching like a Scorsese film.
Absolutely. Right? And
like Killers of the Flower Moon, right? Just as like his most recent work.
Absolutely.
That film is a culmination of his entire career, and then also like a massive production and circus that went into making that film.
Right.
And then you can also generate something in AI and call it a film. It's like, wait, these are not on. Like one of these is art and one isn't.
Right, and that chef, what he's doing or what they're doing in making all those new flavors coalesce and make something new. That's art. That's what art is. Art is showing you something new that you were like, you didn't know was possible. In food, it just so happens to create a sensation in you, but in painting can do that too.
That's what we should get a chef on the show.
We definitely need to get I have some chefs.
I know some chefs too.
Oh man,
I know some chefs in Galveston.
Hopefully they bring their food with them.
That's what I'm, dude. That's
yeah.
Are you hungry right now?
We're so opportunistic.
Is that why you're thinking about food?
Yeah, a little bit too. That white monster that I ate. Now I'm like hungry.
I had a really good salmon, and anyway, we're talking about.
No, what did you have for lunch? I want to know.
Right before this, I went to the gym, and then I came into this, but I like a 30-minute gap, so I probably stink right now because I didn't have time to shower. But I was able to eat a salmon and salad, which was incredible, and it was like salmon that had been marinating like overnight.
Oh, that's sick.
So it was like honey glazed salmon, like a salad. It was really good. Anyway.
Fuck, dude, I had rotisserie chicken from from a supermarket that I will not say where.
Galveston.
Yeah, there's only two supermarkets.
Well, there's 3 in Ireland.
That's true. That's what I had that and some pico de gallo I almost had some rice with it, but I forgot to pack the rice. So
right on.
I still need more food. So after this, probably go get something. All right, that's our episode. That's the prologue. Thank you for listening to Oil and Gas, and expect a lot of quality in the next episodes.
And hopefully interesting guests.
Yeah.
That are more interesting than us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because we're talking about food.
Yeah. We're so boring. Word.